What happens when a group of paranormal investigators start a conversation? You get Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. Tales of the dead, the bizarre, and all things supernatural. Join us now as we have a special guest and discuss Dybbuk Boxes. Hi, and welcome back to Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. I'm Erin.
I'm Linnea.
I'm Deborah.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, Christy. So Christy is one of our teammates on Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, and today she's going to join us for the Dybbuk Box episode. So how's it going, Christy?
Good. How are y'all doing?
Doing good.
Well.
Good.
Tired.
Bedtime.
I get it. I totally understand. Yeah.
Tired. It feels like it should be a Friday already.
I totally understand.
Yeah. So.
Me too.
Yeah. It feels it's. So the funny thing is, we recorded an episode last night, and now we're back doing another episode. So we're going to be a whole week ahead, which is awesome.
That's good.
So, but it's kind of weird doing it 2 nights in a row.
How did last nights go?
I know y'all popped up on my screen. I was like, I feel like I just saw you.
Did y'all have fun doing last nights?
Oh yeah, we have fun doing every night.
Yeah. At this point, I don't even remember what we talked about, but yeah.
The Conjuring. Scary movie something, I think.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, we talked about The Conjuring. But yeah, so Christy, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions and then we'll get into our topic for the day.
Okay.
So what made you get into the paranormal?
I saw my great-grandfather when I was 13 years old after he passed away, and I've been hooked ever since. Actually, that's not true. I did see what I know now was an apparition as a child, but I didn't know it then. I know now it was, but after I saw my great-grandfather, that's when I was hooked ever since.
Yeah.
And nobody believes me, but I know what I saw. Yeah.
So you said you were 13?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your favorite place that we've investigated so far, or that you've investigated so far?
Marion Opera House.
Yeah. Which we're going back there in March, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yes, we are. That's probably won't be my favorite forever, but that's my favorite right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a good one.
It was a good one. It was, to me, I think that's where we saw the first official interaction with the spirit.
Yeah.
When you and I got that response from that little boy, that was just awesome.
Yeah, that was a cool location.
That was awesome.
Yeah. The coolest part there was, for me, was when we got into that office that we weren't supposed to be in, and we heard whistles in the hallway.
Yes, that you chased around and couldn't find.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the door slammed when we were all upstairs. That was freaky because we knew it was the metal doors.
Right.
And nobody was supposed to be in there.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was kind of freaky.
That was a good one. What did y'all think of? Well, you went only once, Deborah, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did y'all think of the Opera House when y'all went?
It was definitely interesting. Bugs and all.
See, we didn't have that the first time.
Woo, we did the second time.
What about you, Linnea? What did you
Yeah.
think about the Opera House?
The last time we went,
Well, both times.
or in general.
Yeah, in general.
I like that's probably one of my favorite locations.
Yeah.
But
It was
it's
definitely.
been very different every single time that we've gone. It's never the same experience.
Yeah, it was weird because the second time we went, it was just it was you, me, Deborah, Christine, and
Craig and
Craig.
Craig and Mama Wanda.
Craig and Mama.
And so it was the energy that time was just totally different than the first time. And that was a cool one because that's when my grandmother came through. So so that was a cool episode.
Dang it, it's
A
light,
cool
right?
episode. That was a cool investigation.
I'll just never the look on your face when I walked through that door and you looked at me and said, "How did you get in there?"
Yeah, because you weren't
You were
supposed to.
pale, Aaron.
Yeah, you
Like
weren't
I came
supposed
through
to.
the door. Yeah.
What's your favorite piece of equipment that you use?
Mine.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be a hard question for Christy because she's got a billion
So
different things.
much. I have so much. But
So narrow it
favorite,
down to one.
my favorite piece, narrow it down right now. My favorite piece is it's a toss up between my microcom and my zoom.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna say my microcom.
because of KD.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go with the zoo.
Because of KD, he signed it on the back and all that, you know. You thought I'd say what?
I thought you were gonna go with the Zoom.
It probably is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably it is. It's probably it and the microcom are just tied. I mean, the Zoom is just. Have all of you listened with the headphones on?
I
Yeah.
think I did outside Deborah's.
You did. Did Deborah? Did you listen with the headphones on?
I don't think I have.
She was too busy getting eaten by mosquitoes.
Yeah, you've got to do that the next time we go to an investigation. The first time I put them on, it was just mind blowing. It was like, I mean, because it's crazy what you can hear with those things. Just
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. The
And know exactly where it's coming from. That's what's so weird.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, like if you whisper back here to my right, I know that that's where you're at. Yeah. You can hear 360. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can definitely hear a mouse fart from a mile away. It's
You can. Yeah.
it's-
Like if
it's
we're
crazy.
like say at the schoolhouse, if there was a noise outside in the hallway, I could tell you if it was on this end of the building or that end of the building and me in another room.
Really?
That's how sensitive it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So what is your favorite thing that has happened on any investigation?
Gosh, my favorite thing. There's so many. We've had lots of great experiences so far, but my favorite thing. Oh my gosh. I'm still going to go with the little boy interacting with us at the Opera House.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not a Conway?
Hmm?
Not City Hall?
Oh yeah, well now that was good too. That's probably that was just breathtaking. It was just unreal.
Oh, that EVP.
Yeah, it was unreal.
Yeah.
Because what was so cool was when we played it back and I turned around and looked over my shoulder, everybody was accounted for.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody was accounted for except Mama, but we knew she was in the room down the hall from us. I mean, nobody could have done it.
Right.
I mean, and it sounds so genuine and so authentic, I guess would be the word to use. So authentic.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
a cool
But
one.
that was probably the best EVP we've got.
So
That is
so
the EVP that we called in Tabor City, the one that said "Mommy." That
Oh,
was
yeah.
kind of freaky too.
So
You know, it's odd because I think in every location we got at least one pretty decent thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think so.
there's not been too many locations we walked away with nothing.
Mm-mm.
yeah,
No,
I
no.
so that being said, what is a location that has scared you the most and why?
The location that has scared me the most would be Lake City, and it would be the doctor's office above the jewelry store.
Yeah, that one was weird.
I just had a really weird feeling in there the whole time I was in there. The spirit box even told Chris and Craig and I were upstairs in that room, and the spirit box even said I was walking behind the poles, behind the table, on the side where they said the floor wasn't as safe, and the spirit box came through and said, watch Christy, or watch out Christy, or something like that. And Craig and Chris just stopped and said, it said your name.
And
And
where
I
was that again?
say, what, huh?
Where was this at again?
In Lake City.
Lake City. Okay.
Yeah. Above the jewelry store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it said, watch Christy, or watch out Christy, or something. And I was on that side where the boards were bad.
Yeah.
But coming down, the very last thing that happened that night is when we were all coming down the stairs, and I felt like something was rushing up behind me, like pushing me. And I came out of the door saying, take pictures, take pictures. I would have bet you money you would have caught something right behind me. I mean, I
Yeah.
could feel it. The hair was standing up on the back of my neck.
Yeah, that was a cool location. And it was just that location in particular was very, it was interesting because we did split up into teams for that one. And we, my team, which was me, Deborah, Angela, and Candy,
Mm-hmm.
we were getting stuff left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all had kind of a stagnant night.
We did. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that was pretty interesting as
Mm-hmm.
well. I mean, and it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting in
That's one of
investigating.
those things too that I think like when we were at the theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was split up, and it kind of seemed like
Yep.
like sometimes I think the whole team just needs to be together. Like maybe it's just that source of all of our energy being in one spot for them to pull.
I agree. And I think the schoolhouse last week is one of those. I think
What
it does. I think it does better if you have a smaller group, you stick together, your energy's together, and you just kind of stop and listen. Because the most things that I caught there were when there was just a couple of us in the building, and the most of what I caught that I'll share on the team page is from the Tuesday night when we went back.
Yeah, that was a weird location for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that place, it was just a weird location for me. Um, I felt the entire night that something was trying to separate us and
Mm-hmm.
pull us over here and then pull us over here, and I constantly felt eyes on me. I didn't like it. Um,
It was weird. I felt like something was looking at us the whole time we were there.
yeah, something was definitely watching us, and
But did you
I
feel like
mean,
it was coming from everywhere though? Not just like one spot. It was like everywhere.
like
Eyes.
it felt like I would turn around one direction and eyes would be on me. Like I almost expected to turn a corner and see somebody standing there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
And but for me, like I never walk off alone on an investigation, and I think I did a couple times, and Lydia's like, "Don't do that. Go back with everybody else."
Well, technically you weren't alone. You had Linnea strapped to your chest.
Yeah, except
That's
for I
true.
kept trying to bring her into the bucket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
was
still don't know
weird.
why that bucket was hanging there unless it was to catch rainwater, but it wasn't going to do but very good. But for this long, I mean, it was
Yeah, yeah.
it's
So
kind of weird.
yeah, I mean
So,
that was a weird location. I definitely I felt it again when we went back the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, I would like to go back there.
I would too.
But I definitely, like, I had my scarf around my nose, but I would probably wear something a little bit heavier than that because a lot of that dust got into my sinuses. Um, so like the next day and stuff, I was a little sniffles. But
Yeah, I would like to go back. I think I think that's the first time anybody's ever acknowledged them, and it hasn't been acknowledged. Nobody's been in there in 3 years, and um, I think we can get some serious communication in that building. I
yeah,
think we
I
can
mean,
get the kids to come through.
well, we were
Deborah,
hearing
you went
stuff.
back in with me. What did you think about it? Actually, Deborah and I heard some things when we went back in there.
You can definitely feel it.
Yeah,
You can. I mean, it's especially up on the stage in the old auditorium part of it.
yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but I don't. It felt like eyes were coming from everywhere, which
yeah,
I've always felt like be, was being watched anytime I've ever been in there.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, I guess, since there was only two of us, I the feeling was just so much more heavier.
Yeah,
I
Mm-hmm.
guess because I paid more attention to it than I
Mm-hmm.
normally would.
But we heard a few little things while we were in there. You could
Mm-hmm.
hear I heard footsteps one time, like little tiny foot, like little
yeah.
shuffles.
Well, and
Mm-hmm.
it's weird because it's, a lot of like the smaller stuff. It could be mice in the building because
Oh
it's an
yeah, I'm
old
sure,
building,
definitely.
and but the coolest part of that about that investigation, and that for those of you listening, that is an undisclosed location. We will not be giving any names or anything about that location,
Mm-hmm.
other than our own experiences. Um, but the coolest thing for me was hearing, like, when we were all together, collectively hearing audible voices or audible moans, and like it was just like a "Ah,"
Mm-hmm.
like it was the weirdest thing but the coolest thing. And like when we
That's
hear
that's what I heard. That little voice that I caught that I'll post and let y'all listen to. Candy says she doesn't hear it, but it's like a little. I mean, it's
yeah,
very faint, but it's there. But you know what the ironic thing is on all of my stuff that I've reviewed so far? We heard a whistle with our ears. You can't hear it on the video.
yeah,
Voices you can't hear on the video. Footsteps you can't hear. A lot of the stuff that we heard with our ears that didn't pick up on the video.
right,
Now,
right,
don't know about the audio. I haven't finished it yet, the Zoom, but on the video, didn't pick up. And that
yeah,
whistle was loud. I mean, it was
yeah. That was a loud whistle.
we
That, I
were
mean, that was a
freaking
cool one.
out, but it doesn't pick up.
Yeah. So I mean, it's that was a cool. That was a neat location. Um, I would like to go back, but I don't want to. I'm not rushing to go back right now. Like I needed to separate a
No,
little bit from that
no,
building.
no.
I will say though, I've never had, and we might have Craig on to talk about his experiences at some point, but I've never seen him so freaked out about a location. And
Oh
like,
no, that I did get the mess scared out of me there
yeah,
when
he,
whatever that was rattled those. And he told me later. He said, you were just." He said, "I've never seen you like that." He said,
yeah,
"I knew it was not you because you wouldn't have reacted that way if it had been you doing it." Oh man, it was freaky.
yeah. I mean, but I've never seen him get so freaked out at a location. Like he hauled ass out of there.
Yeah, he
And that's
did.
funny considering that he feels at home in the Hinsdale house.
Right, right.
Exactly. And lives with a spirit.
Yeah. I mean, but I've never seen him so freaked out, and so that was interesting. But
Yeah. Well, we have an open invitation to go back anytime we want to. So,
nice.
Yeah, I'd like to get in there.
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love for you to go in. But yeah, they told us we can use it anytime we want to. It's available.
Awesome.
And
But
speaking of Dybbuk boxes, that would be somewhere I might would have expected to see one, but
I won't
never
be
have.
opening it.
I can run up on one nowhere.
Me
Uh-uh.
either. I don't want to run up on one either.
Nope.
So now that you mention it, let's get into some Dybbuk Boxes information.
Yeah,
Um,
I would not want to run up on one anywhere. But I have mixed feelings about them. The more research I do,
so
they've
what
always fascinated me. But
what drew you into this topic? Because for our listeners, what we do when every time we have a guest on, we have them on to talk about, to discuss a topic that they are either really, really passionate about or really interested in, or something that just catches their mind. And so that's how we choose our guest episodes when we have them. Um, so what fascinated you about them to choose
I
this topic?
actually, on some of the like paranormal caught on camera kind of stuff and all those little shows like that, I actually saw a couple of people opening Dybbuk boxes. And I was like, what the heck is a Dybbuk box? And I saw, they would talk about it a little bit. And then I saw, Zach bought one to go in his museum one time, and he was talking about it and everything. And I was like, what is? So I started doing some research about them, just looking them up and finding out a little bit about them. Well, then I started seeing movies about them. So I've watched a few movies, and then I saw some documentaries, and I watched those, and come to find out that the one that Zach bought was the inspiration for one of the movies I was reading about earlier today.
Yep. Yep.
Which is also supposed to be a fake.
Yes. So, do you guys know what the word Dybbuk means?
Yes. Do y'all know? It is actually a Yiddish word which means to cleave or to cling.
So, in
Cling.
Jewish, yeah. So in Jewish folklore, this comes from the JewishVirtualLibrary.org. So
Yeah.
in Jewish folklore, and it's a popular belief that an evil spirit which enters into a living person, cleaves to his soul, causes mental illnesses, talks through his mouth, and represents a separate and alien personality. That is what a Dybbuk is.
Okay, so that makes sense because I saw one of the movies about the boxes was The Possession, but I couldn't watch that one. That one cost
Yeah,
money.
that's the one, the Possession. That's the Dybbuk box that Zach has in his museum. Is the Dybbuk box from that movie that movie is based on, but it's also not supposed to be real. It's also supposed to be a hoax.
So,
And the reason Dybbuks actually have possessed, supposedly, or believed by the Jewish people, Dybbuks have possessed people for millennia. I mean, it goes way back, but they have never been known to possess a material object until 2003, when the first Dybbuk box showed up on eBay.
yeah. So that actually, I was reading something the other day where the Jewish beliefs, the Jewish culture, they don't mess with spirit. Like they have their folklore, they have their beliefs, in the Dybbuk.
Yeah.
But they don't mess with it. So confining it to a box is not of their practice.
No, and not all Dybbuks in history have been evil or demonic. They're just
Bless
bad.
you.
God bless you, honey.
Thank you.
Aren't all always evil or demonic. That has kind of come to pass in recent years.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many of these are for sale on eBay.
They're on eBay. They're all over. Honey, McCarty is selling them, which those are fake. But
I know.
they're all over eBay. Yeah.
Some are really expensive.
Yeah, I pulled up a bunch today and I took a screenshot of it. I'm like, crap. But when I saw them from Macari and all these, I'm like, those aren't real, of course. But see, technically, Dybbuk boxes were never part of the whole plan.
No.
And I don't know where all this came from. It came about, like I said, in 2003, the first one showed up. And actually, that's the one that the Possession is based on. And it was by some guy. I got his name written somewhere. But he got like $140 for it. The very first one that was sold. I think it was $140.
Kevin Manis was his
That's
name.
him, Kevin Manis. Yep. $140 he got for it. But since then, they keep showing up, and there's even been an eBay challenge, a Dybbuk box challenge, where people would buy them and open them up on YouTube and film it live. And there's actually
Nope.
Dybbuk Box. I think it was the possession of Chris Chambers. He did his a few years ago. He filmed his on YouTube. The whole thing. There's been a movie about it. It's been made into a movie. I watched it a couple weeks ago. Or actually, it's been longer than that. It's made into a movie, but the movie, he plays himself in the movie.
I watched it today.
Did you? He plays himself in the movie, and he also, all the footage in it is his live YouTube footage of everything that happened after he opened that box.
Yeah. I mean,
But what the belief is that, from what I was reading, and it makes perfect sense, and y'all know this can happen. A lot of the school of thought on Dybbuk boxes is that they have been willed into existence to be evil. I mean, kind of like the teenagers brought the, what's his name? The tall, skinny guy?
you talking about
Slenderman, yeah. How they brought him to life.
You talking about like a tulpa?
Yes.
A tulpa? Yeah.
Yes. That's the way, that's what people actually think that has happened with Dybbuk boxes.
Yeah. Well,
It has made it to what it is.
I think Dybbuk boxes too are a lot of, like, I'm not going to mess around with one, but I'm also not going to mess around with a Ouija board either.
No.
But I feel like a Ouija board and Dybbuk box are kind of one and the same.
I don't.
With,
I don't.
With intention. I mean, that's what I think.
I don't, because a lot of time, I mean, this is straight up, you pretty much know. If you're opening this,
You're taking a chance.
probably not.
You're
With
fine.
the Ouija board, people aren't always looking to do, somebody's just looking to reach out to their loved one. So I don't think it's the
Okay,
same.
yeah.
These are specifically related to something evil, where a Ouija board, you're giving it that
I
association.
worry about it because I ain't messing with neither one of them.
I know, but I'm saying, but a lot of people who are looking to speak to a loved one. Like we know from the House episode, when they're doing seances, they're looking to reach out to kids and whatever.
That's
so
true. That's
I think
true.
that
Yeah.
It's more of like a hope item, not an
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
And
That
I know,
makes sense.
y'all know, people place curses on things. People place curses on people, and I believe that can really happen. So how do you know that somebody hasn't cursed some of these items that they've put in this Dybbuk box, and when somebody opens it, it releases something? I mean, who knows? But I don't believe that it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
How do you contain an evil spirit in a box? How do you put him in there?
Like the Ghostbusters.
Yeah. How do you do that?
So let's talk about the hoax for a second. So that took place in 2003. So the guy was a business owner. He was a furniture refinishing business owner. His name was Kevin Manis. He purchased this cabinet. It was a wine box, like a wine cabinet.
Which is what a lot of Dybbuk boxes end up being, which is funny
Yeah.
because that's what the first one was.
So it was a wine box he purchased from the yard sale of a local attorney in Portland, Oregon.
I've got a wood cigar box right here that's freaking me out right now.
Well, hoping
You
it
got
back
one?
Huh?
You have one?
It's a wooden cigar box.
Well, let me know what's in it.
Nothing.
Cigars.
Good old cigar.
Why is it freaking you out?
Just the thoughts. Y'all talking about the wooden boxes?
Well, just open it up while you're talking about it.
It's got all dried up tobacco in it.
So after he purchased it,
Cool. Nice box.
So after he purchased this wine box, he began developing a backstory.
Yep.
So according to him, the carving on the back of the box was his carving. The stone that was in the box is something that is, he said, quote, something that is a signature creation of mine also. And then he says, make no mistake, I conceived the Dybbuk box, the name, the term, the idea, and wrote this creative story about it and post it on eBay. He said the auction description included a story claiming that the cabinet was previously owned by a survivor of the Holocaust in Poland, who said it contained a malicious spirit of a Dybbuk. and that the box had paranormal powers and was responsible for his bad luck and nightmares. Subsequent owners retold his story when reselling the item and amplified it with their own claims of strange phenomena.
And supposedly each person who bought the box, it kept changing hands, changing owners. Each owner claims they were cursed.
Right.
And they would sell it and get rid of it till it ended up in Zach's hands and in his museum in Las Vegas. And since then, Post Malone has claimed he was supposedly cursed by it too.
Yeah, I've heard that. See, I'm just not gonna even. I'm not gonna even mess with it. I like. Why
No,
risk
me either.
It? Why even risk it?
It's super interesting. Kind of, I'm just on eBay now, reading through all the descriptions, and it's funny because the boxes that are coming up first, the sellers all have very good reviews. So it's not like people just that are like popping up and selling these things. But I mean, these descriptions are
Yeah.
entertaining.
I mean, I
Are
could
people
see
bidding on them?
Huh?
Are people bidding on them?
They must be because I can see other people like have bought in more than one from like a particular person or whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, he has a disclaimer saying like basically like I can only tell you what it did for me. Paranormal is unpredictable. If it does nothing for you, if your stuff doesn't start flying off your shelves, don't give me a bad review. Can't predict it.
Yeah,
These are crazy.
I can see though where it could be a tulpa. I mean, you give something so much. You give something so much power that it's going to.
Yeah.
Be that it's going to you manifest eventually,
and that's what people are saying that this has done. It has manifested just like Slender Man. You know, he was a story, and kids have brought him to life supposedly.
Right, and that's an episode I think we're gonna do another time though. Is the tulpa, because that's an interesting concept. Have y'all ever heard of the tulpa?
No, you brought it up before.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's manifesting something out of nothing and basically creating your own monsters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
because the Slender Man was basically a story that parents would tell the kids to keep them in at night and out of the woods, from what I understand.
Right.
And he actually, they manifested him into existence.
Is that the Midnight Man? Can we talk about that a little bit? Isn't that Slender Man, or is that the?
No, that's not Slender Man, but it's
similar.
It sounds like it, and that's I think a lot of these like, speaking of, we got to revisit those episodes and do some more games, but
you know, and that could probably be the case for a lot of cryptids.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, except my man Bigfoot. Now he's real. My man Bigfoot, he's real.
Christy, did you listen to our episode on what was his name, Chris Tompkins? Did you listen to that episode?
No,
Well, you have to go listen to that one. So we did it as kind of a true crime story. There is a ex-detective who has written books. What is it called there in the books?
It's like Missing 411. I don't remember what the exact title of the book is.
But he believes that Bigfoot took the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I said there's a movie. There's been our documentary. Something about some 411. I think I'm pretty sure there's a documentary.
411 is a whole series. He has missing people from all over the world.
Yes, I've seen some of those. It's been on television. There's a series. It's on Philo or Tubi or somewhere. I've seen something about missing people.
It's on YouTube as well, under the free movies on YouTube. Yeah. But
I'll have to go back and listen to that. I'll have to watch that. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, but yeah, that's definitely like, I don't know, like, there's some things I think could be tulpas, but then there's other things that I'm like, everything's got to come from something. Like how would I? And I know I'm sidetracking a little bit, but that's how we do it here. But like, how would people come up with, you know, be sitting there one day and think of an idea and say, you know what, there's this, you know, like with their own imagination. Okay, there's this big, tall, 10-foot hairy guy that likes to creep around the woods, but you can't ever find them. Like, like some of the things that people, like, if it was all just imagination, some of the things that people would come up with is, like, people aren't going to sit down and think of Bigfoot or the Lizard Man or stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I think I'm like you. I think every story is based in reality somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
Even Slender Man, he was really a story that was told to these kids. You know what I'm saying? It's all based on reality somewhere. But I know what you're saying. How do people come up with all of this stuff?
Yeah.
Now, my man Bigfoot, he's real. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so let's let's shift and have a little discussion on something real quick. Something that piqued my interest because I had to go to Reddit, of course, you know, as we do.
Of course.
So I was reading through Reddit about Dybbuk boxes and all of that jazz. And a lot of the posts on Reddit were like it was fake and da 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 da. And you know, Dybbuk boxes, while they're real, like physical, the paranormal side of it isn't. But I came across this one, and it is an interesting theory. So it says, my theory, this comes from subreddit of fan theories. The user has since been deleted. But it says, quote, my theory is that Jumanji itself is a very powerful Dybbuk trapped inside this box that manipulates children, its preferred prey, into challenging it. I mean, we only see a handful of kids that succeed the game. How many failed and were consumed by the game? Like, it changes form depending on the time period and who's playing it. And at the beginning of the first Jumanji film, the two brothers in the 1860s are burying the chest containing the game. But who knows if it was a form of a board game when they hit, or if it was a form of a board game at all when they hit it. In the recent Jumanji sequel, it became a video game to draw in the 21st century geek and his delinquent friends. And think of the name Jumanji. It sounds like exotic gibberish, but think of this. French. G. Manjurius, which means I will consume. What if Jumanji was originally that and changed to satisfy Alan's desires for an adventure and a way to get out of his life? What do y'all think of that?
I think I could figure out a different way to do it.
I mean, if I'm not playing Jumanji.
No.
I don't need a stampede coming through my house.
No, I don't know them damn monkeys neither.
Well, I think any of these people who buy a Dybbuk box and want to open it and see what happens without researching it and really knowing what they're getting into are crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
All fun and games until you release a demon in your house.
That's exactly right.
But some of the comments...
I was sitting there watching this movie, and I'm watching this man cut the wax on the box, and I'm like, don't do it, don't do it. I told him not to do it.
I know, you don't listen to you. I tell them.
Why are people spending their good hard money to put demons into their homes? I don't understand.
I don't either.
I mean, if they want a demon, I can bring some youngins.
Hey, I got a cat that'll drive them crazy if they want a demon.
So
like, even I'm looking at the haunted dolls now. Now I'm like stuck on eBay. I can't get off.
She's gone down a rabbit hole.
I ain't doing that either.
Let me ask you this.
About this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So,
no, it's some freaky balls at the schoolhouse too. That one.
Yeah. So when you were watching that video, because I think I haven't seen the documentary, but I've seen the video, and when you're watching it, don't you feel like so stressed out when he's cutting that wax?
Yes.
And it's like as soon as he cuts it,
don't do it.
Yeah, as soon as he cuts it and goes to open the box, it's almost like you can picture in your head just like a...
Yeah.
And then like as soon as he like lifts the latch on the box and goes to open it, you're like, oh, you fucked up. Oh, you messed up so bad.
He even talked about the smell.
Yeah.
He said the box itself smelled.
And when he's in his house with it. No, I don't want nothing that stinks in my house like that.
Yeah, he said before Chris Chambers, when he got this box, it came in like a Amazon box, like a big box, a cardboard box.
It smelled.
Packed inside. Yeah, and he said it smelled. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why are you going to open that for? I mean, ugh.
Yeah.
But one of the ones I saw on TV, the guy opened it. I don't know if y'all have ever seen it. It's the one where the guy's in like this small room. There's pictures on the wall behind him and stuff. And just time he cuts the wax and opens the box, a picture falls off the wall behind him. Mm-hmm. Almost like when he opened the box, it flew out, boom, and hit the wall. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I believe that one, but if not, he was a damn good actor.
Was that the one where he his YouTube medal fell off the wall?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. In that same one, I think it was the same guy.
He looked really scared.
Yeah, I think it was the same guy, but he had a dog, and the dog started getting affected. And
That's it.
He left the dog at home one day, and then came home, and the dog was like all swollen in the muzzle, and was just like not doing good. But once he like took the dog out of the house, the dog would perk back up. But then they would bring it back, and it was like downhill again.
I saw a mother and daughter that opened one too, and weird things started happening around them.
I saw that. Yeah. I
something
saw that
about a frog in a tree or something. I don't remember. Something about a tree and a frog. I don't know. Anyway, both of them got really scared.
Yeah.
But now the Chris Chambers thing, that really looked real. The things that happened in his house. I mean, he was asleep and there was all this crap happening in his living room. I mean, it was from his home footage cameras. It was just crazy.
Right.
But
so real quick, what are some of these comments from this Jumanji post? They said Jumanji 3, a prequel about a child eating demon and a rabbi trying to beat the game. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I mean it is interesting. I'm not gonna mess around with it at all.
No, that movie that I watched on it, this is my demon right now. That movie, or not, it's good enough fear in me. I'm not going to test it.
No, not at all.
No, I would not open one. I would not come near one if I saw one. I'd look at it over there, and it can stay over there.
The way I look at it,
I'm not taking any chances.
The way I look at it is that thing is wax sealed up for a reason.
For a reason.
What's in there can stay in there and stay the hell away from me.
Yep. Because somebody went to that much trouble, it's going to stay closed.
Heck yeah.
It's the morbid curiosity that gets everybody.
Yeah. It's the what?
I think it's the
morbid curiosity.
Yes, exactly.
And what did it do to the cat?
That's it.
So they say. He might be a spirit too.
Yeah.
I need to close down eBay. I'm like having issues over here. I can't stop looking at haunted objects now.
It's crazy. But how many of them do you think are really haunted?
Oh, none of them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But still, why take the chance and why spending your money on nothing or spending your money on something?
But it is crazy the stuff you find on there.
Oh my gosh.
On eBay?
I'm falling down a rabbit hole over here.
eBay strange, try Craigslist.
Oh my
God.
I haven't been on Craigslist in years.
There any haunted, good-looking men on there? I need to try to get the demons out of.
We need to start a dating app for just paranormal folks.
Yeah. You got demons? I'll get them out of you.
One way or another. Is that going to be the tagline of it?
You want one way or another?
Paranormal paramour.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That is not the alliteration that I thought you were going to go with, to be honest. If if I'm just being 100% honest, that is not the alliteration I thought we were going with.
That was the safest way to go, though. For sure.
Oh my god.
PG.
Keeping it PG. For all of our 5-year-old listeners that.
Right. Uh-huh.
Oh
yeah.
God. Yeah.
Anya, have you X'd it yet?
Have a what?
Have you hit the X yet?
The X?
No, she's still scrolling.
Screen, have you hit the X?
No, she's still scrolling.
Scrolling on eBay.
Yeah.
Close it. Close it.
I'm sorry, I switched to Etsy.
They got some weird stuff on there, too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting concept, and yeah, I'm not messing around with it. I think that if
We can fundraise for the team. We can probably make some of these ourselves and sell them. They seem to be doing all right with them.
I was gonna say it would be an awesome fundraiser. People do buy crap like that.
and you know what we can do?
We'll just bring them every time we go on investigation. Whatever's there, we'll just close it up, seal it. If we get something, we get something. Again, we can't predict it.
You gonna open it up later to find out? Nope.
No, we're gonna sell it.
We're gonna sell it.
We're gonna sell it.
Come with me.
You know what we can do? We can make it a whole 8 ounces because 8 ounces is huge.
Sorry, Chrissy. We'll explain that to you later.
We'll explain
Yeah,
it.
you don't have to.
Because, I mean, 8 ounces is like this big.
That's really big.
Tell me about it.
She probably didn't see a 0 behind the 8.
I need to double check it. Watch it be 80 ounces.
That's all that happened. The first one was put on there. He made some money, and everybody said, "Oh, we can make these."
Yeah, I mean that's it. We could trap some ghosts busting in the boxes. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. I definitely I don't want to mess with it at all. But
No, ma'am.
Yeah, the one in the museum of Zach's is supposed to be on a table in a room behind glass with a note, a sign, never to open it, never to be opened ever again.
except
He
that
opened it.
Except that one episode of Ghost Adventures where he opened
Yeah,
it.
except that one episode where he opened it.
Yeah,
And what happened to him? Something, he was affected somehow.
he's always affected.
He's always affected. He's always affected.
But y'all got anything else about Dybbuk boxes or the Dybbuk?
I'm scared of them. That's it. That's all y'all need to know.
Yep,
Can I
that's
put my
it.
kids in one?
Maybe you might be able to. But
You haven't. Yeah, you could probably create one right there in your house.
look, this is how tired I am today. I literally just looked at my screen and saw Shine's head, and I was like, "Oh, Blanche is right here." I was like, "Oh," but Blanche is on the floor. But yeah, y'all let us know in the comments like what you think. Are they real? Not real? Would you open one? Would you leave it the hell alone? Let us know what you think, because I'm curious. And then also, remember what we talked about last week, where we had discussed possible Patreon if we get more. Even though we were recording these back to back, it's still last week's episode. But where we discussed about a possible Patreon, if we can increase our followers on the podcast, and doing movie nights on the podcast. So send us a message on Facebook or comment any of our posts and just say movie night, and we'll know what it means. If that's something that you guys would be interested in. But otherwise, thank you, Christy, for joining us. I hope you had
You're welcome.
fun.
I enjoyed it very much.
I hope you had fun.
I did.
And also, oh, wait a second. When this episode comes out, because we're now a week ahead, when this episode comes out, we will have just finished the Brentwood.
Wow.
Like,
Good job.
we will have just had the Brentwood 2 days before this episode comes out. So
Now, that should be a podcast in itself.
yeah, I'm so excited for that investigation. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to be really, really good. We have some cool
I think so.
experiments to try. Yeah, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
that one's like a bucket list location for us.
Exactly. Ever since we started this, that's been one of the places we really wanted to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and now that we're
I'm
getting
excited too.
in there, yeah, I'm so excited. So, but yeah, y'all let us know what you think about this episode. And there y'all have it. And yeah, you got the Dybbuk box. And until next time.
Open if you dare.
Exactly.
And if you do, let us know what happens.
But don't send it to us.
Yeah, don't send it to us. Just tell us.
Keep it.
Yeah, you keep it. Just tell us.
Yeah. Well, until next time, y'all come back now, you hear? Bye.
Bye.